U of I Wildlife Medical Clinic has 11 ambassador animals who are not releasable into the wild. They are available for educational programming, and we get to meet one here today on ciLiving. Joining me from U of I Wildlife Medical Clinic is the program coordinator, Sydney, and I see you brought a friend.
Yeah, so this is Caduceus. She's our Brazilian rainbow boa.
She is beautiful.
Yes, she is.
Well, we are going to talk all about her and fun facts about rainbow boas in a minute, but first, can you tell me a little bit about the Wildlife Clinic?
Yeah, so our main goal is to get native wildlife rehab back into the wild. And then secondly, we want to educate the next wave of veterinary students. And then lastly, we take our ambassador animals that aren't releasable, and we take them around to different schools, libraries, different places, and give educational programs to different groups of people.
And I know some animals make good ambassadors and some don't. What is the differentiation? How do you choose your ambassadors?
So we're looking for an animal that's calm, that's not going to be stressed if they're in captivity. So it really takes the right temperament of that animal. And then one that is willing and likes to be around people, likes to be handled, is willing to be trained and trainable. So those are really the main things we're looking for. So
nice.
Yep.
Well, she is beautiful. Tell me a little bit about rainbow boas in general, starting with what do they eat? Because I know they eat something that you don't want around the house.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, so these guys are really important. They eat a lot of different pest species, especially mice and rats. But in the wild too, these guys will also eat birds, bird eggs, frogs, fish even. They can actually swim some too. It's not their favorite thing to do, but they are very good swimmers. So. Yeah.
I did not know that snakes swim.
Yep.
I do know they climb trees though, right?
Yeah, so these guys are semi-arboreal. So as you can see on the ground here, she would blend in with leaf litter on the forest floor, but then they also can climb up in low bushes and short trees and stuff like that. And that's another adaptation, for eating birds and bird eggs and things like that. So just finding food, it makes them a little more adaptable.
Nice.
So.
And then I see that you've brought right here, this is a molt, right?
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about when they shed their skin?
Yeah, so Cadu, I think she's been about every 6 weeks or so. They continually grow throughout their life. So even though she's pretty much the length she's going to be, they can get a little bit wider. And then also, in the wild, they might have parasites on them or different things like that, or they have an injury to their scales. And so they shed their skin periodically as they grow, and then as those scales get damaged, so that they get a nice new skin on there that helps protect them. So.
And then how do they reproduce?
Yeah, so these guys are ovoviviparous, and so just a fancy term for saying they hold eggs in. So these guys actually, it looks like they give live birth to little snakelets, but actually they do have eggs and they just hold them internally. So.
And I had learned that fancy word because some species of sharks do the exact same thing. I had learned about the leopard sharks that incubate their babies in San Diego, and they do the same thing. They eventually give live birth, so they look like live breeders, but it's like a combination. And so when they are hunting, are they ambush predators? Do they eat, are they sort of opportunistic? What is their hunting style?
Kind of both. They can be more opportunistic, but also kind of ambush too. If a bird comes by on a branch and they're sitting there, they can strike very quickly and grab them. And they have a lot of teeth in their mouth that help them hold on to that prey that they're grabbing.
And then I see she's flicking her tongue out. Is that how they explore their environment, or what is the purpose
so
of
she
the
can kind
tongue?
of smell, and they have little pits in the front there, so she can kind of sense heat, and so that's what she's going for when she's moving around. She can see the heat more. I kind of smell by flicking her tongue out like that. So.
Right, and she comes, when you travel with her, she has a heating pad and things like that because it's so cold here, right?
Yep, and we can also, we can put her in a smaller enclosure and put her in a cooler as well to help keep her warm. But yeah, we have small little portable heating pads that we warm up and put in there with her, so.
And then the students at U of I, how do they interact with the Wildlife Medical Clinic?
Yeah, so we actually have a team of students that work with the ambassadors, and then a team that's in the clinic. Some do both. But our team of 30 students, they sign up for different shifts, and at least once a week they're doing husbandry care for these guys. So they're going in and cleaning their enclosure, misting if they need misting, refilling their water. She gets fed every couple weeks. So they would do that if it's time to feed her as well. But for some of our other animals that eat daily, they'd be feeding, cleaning, pulling old food, stuff like that. So, and then they also give them enrichment, so that's very important too. We want to kind of mimic like natural behaviors and give them some stimulation so they're not just getting the same thing every day. So they provide that as well. And then we do a little training, not so much with the snakes, but other than holding them, so just to keep them used to being handled for programs. So
that's nice. So then these animals ultimately become ambassadors for their species, so people can learn, and the students can learn, and it's kind of a win-win because then you're also taking care of it. Like this boa was a rescue, right?
Yes, yeah. So she was actually a former pet that was donated to the vet college, and our non-traditional species club actually cared for her for about 11 years. And then they were renovating the area that she was housed in, and she moved over to the wildlife clinic. And because of all that time that she spent with those students being handled, it made her the perfect candidate to join our program. So
she really is. She's very calm. She's kind of staying in her lane. Well, thank you for being such a good ambassador and for joining us today. And thank you for all of the information you shared. I really appreciate you being here. And if you would like more information about the U of I Wildlife Medical Clinic, you can head over to our website at ciLiving.tv after the show.